I mean, what am I supposed to do about storing it, though? I mean, I want to put it in the garage.
Well, you can change your exhaust. That's one option.
Okay.
Or you can change your exhaust. Look, all I'm trying to do is get my permits there, and if you piss off my neighbors because you got a stupid loud car, that'll be a problem. So you can park it, or you can change the exhaust and drive it.
That's
Roll
good.
it all the way into the street in neutral, and then hook it up to a truck and bring it down the road, and then start it down there.
Hook it up to a truck.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll look into that, Rob.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll explain a little bit later in this video, but if anybody at all in the DMV area, so like Maryland, Virginia area, because I'm going to be back this weekend with this car, if anybody has an Axleback exhaust system for sale, please DM me or email me, jrb605business@gmail.com. Ooh, good evening, guys. Welcome to the video. I know it's actually quite nice out today. Yesterday it was freezing cold. Everything's still in the same place as it was in last video because, well, this is, well, the day after I recorded that one. So today we're actually going to be driving this girl. We're going to be talking about a couple things regarding it. I kind of wanted to talk about what the plans are for it. Am I going to mod it? Am I going to intentionally blow the motor up? Am I going to put a 200 shot of nitrous on it and blow it to smithereens at the call out on the 28th, which, by the way, I don't think I ever promoted on my channel, but on the 28th of this month, there's a YouTube call out event, so to speak. So a bunch of YouTubers are getting together. Mike is the, you know, I guess, organizer. What the fuck do you want? And not only is the C5 going to race there and also race Mike and kick his ass, because he has no chance unless he spends dumb money on his C5. But I'm also going to be filming it. I'm sure plenty of you have seen my after movie, so to speak, of the first one, which a lot of people liked. I'll link it here, play a little clip for you guys. C4 did me well. I think it ran at 13.1 was the best time, if I remember correctly, but it did very, very well. You know, it was a healthy car, healthy motor. Even though I talk about beat the shit out of the car all the time, it was, you know, it was okay. It was just me saying that. But this, I'm very curious to see, because everybody is telling me, you know, there's no way this car makes 500 horsepower. Now let's talk about that 500 horsepower thing. Where did that number come from? Was that just said by the owner? Is there any proof? Well, I don't have the dyno numbers. Actually, it might be in this car, come to think of it. Hold on. Is it in the hatch? Because, as you guys know, I have my book of modifications with the car on the front of it, so you know it's legitimate. Okay, here we go. There is actual proof. I'll take a picture of this and I'll put it in the video. But this is the actual dyno sheet from a Mustang dyno. Now, Mustang dynos routinely dyno lower than dyno jets, and most people use dyno jets numbers because they're bigger numbers, so it sounds like the car makes more horsepower. Now, this car was dynoed on a Mustang dyno and made engine torque, it made 384 torque, and engine power, it made max 446. So on a Mustang dyno, there's about a 13% difference from what a dyno jet would read, or about that. So just about on the number, this car is making about 500 on a dyno jet, which is what most people, you know, use as the number. So this is a 500 horsepower car. Now, why does it make 500 horsepower? Well, let me show you under the hood so you can see what it is. Like I said, it's basically a heads and cam car. It's got a fast intake, which is cool. It's got some other, you know, supporting modifications as well, which I'll read off because it's funny because I talked about that the Craigslist ad, I no longer had it, and not only did a friend of mine send me the Craigslist ad that I sent the Craigslist ad to a while ago when I was looking at the car, but the original owner, Steve, he sent me his original listing, which had the readout of most of the major modifications. So I'll read that to you now. Okay, here's what's been done to this car, and this is from the original Craigslist ad. So it's got PRC Stage 1 LS6 heads, Texas Speed MS4 cam, there's your cam, MS4 cam with upgraded valve train, Texas Speed ceramic coated long tube headers. He said he had both Y pipes, then the one with no cats, which I actually have now in the garage. I picked up last night from his place, so the car would sound really fucking loud. Borla Axleback exhaust with no mufflers, Spec 2 stage plus clutch and aluminum flywheel, RPM transmission, 1000 horsepower rated torque tube, and a DTE transmission and a diff brace. Now, why would you do those upgrades? Those aren't just like, eh, you know what, I got my paycheck, I'm gonna do those upgrades now. It's no, he blew the other two up on a drag strip. If I remember right, what he said, those parts were put in about 20,000 miles ago, 30,000 miles ago, so it's still relatively new parts. DTE transmission and diff brace, Rockland standard gear Tranzilla T56 with a 30 spline output shaft. Here's a big thing that a lot of people don't know and I never mentioned. Rockland standard gear upgraded differential with 390s. So you gotta shift more in this car. But I gotta tell you, it goes through the gears like a rocket. It is a very, very fast car. John O'Connell Path shocks. I'm gonna pronounce that wrong, but it's got different shocks in the car. I've got the original ones as well. LS3 injectors, fast intake manifold. It's got a Veraram intake, as I already said. A B&M short throw shifter, which by the way is a big help because this car, right, you know, stock has the shift throw of a rowboat, which is not far off of my C4, so I know where he's coming from. I'm glad he put that in. It's very nice. New battery, 2 new rear tires that have been driven less than 500 miles, which is great. I'm sure I'm going to destroy those very, very quickly. New AC compressor, new clutch and slave cylinder, less than 100 miles, which is like, yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, that's everything that was major listed. Okay, but it's time to get inside. Oh, that's nice. Grab yourself one of these while they're here. All right. Oof. All right, let's start her up. That is one of the coolest things in the world. When you turn the key, that's awesome. I'm not even gonna lie. I really like that animation. It's stupid, but I like it. I'll tell you what though, power steering, 2 fingers. Like actually 2 fingers. This is more comfortable than driving my daily driver Altima. Like it's actually more comfortable, and this is a Corvette. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about in today's video, I actually recorded in yesterday's, but I purposely didn't put it in just because it made the video like an extra 8 minutes long. And I don't know about you, but when I see a 20-minute video on YouTube, it's kind of daunting, especially when it's posted at like 1 in the morning. So I didn't really think that was worth it. I thought actually I could make it its own video without rushing it. So I wanted to explain in this video how I afforded this car, you know, how I bought this car. And just so you guys know where I'm coming from, I'm not one of those people that are like, oh yeah, I'm a, you know, like a 13-year-old entrepreneur that somehow makes 6 figures, you know, and I'm selling my digital marketing agency course or nonsense like that. No, none of that stuff. No, I mean, I'm just a young kid. I'm 19. I'm gonna turn 20 in April of next year, and you know, I'm not going to college currently. I am right now. I'm just, you know, working with Ferretti. After saving for the C4 when I was in high school, and then I sold the C4, I got all that money back, and that money I was able to use to purchase this car. Now, I told you I paid $15,500 for this car. I paid for it outright right then and there, but I didn't pay out of my own pocket $15,500. Tunnel. Oh my God. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, when I was younger, my parents began to put away money for me for college. They wanted to see me go to college, and you know, they just, you know, threw out, whoops, wrong gear. But they wanted to see me go to college when I was younger, and they, you know, over time, you know, putting money away consistently with paychecks, they ended up putting away a little over, oh God, the drone is terrible in 5th, 6th gear, let's not put it there. All said and done with interest, it was about $61,000. And when I told my parents, you know, I'm not looking to go to college, I have no intent on going to college, which was a very odd conversation in my house. They withdrew the money from the account. They said, we're not going to give you this money, but if you need anything for educational stuff or, you know, advancing your career, the money's here. And it doesn't mean I just go out and buy, you know, $61,000 worth of camera equipment. You know, I'll use it when it's necessary. So, for instance, I wanted to finance this car originally, and the reason I couldn't do that, or I didn't want to do it, it was possible, but it was very stupid, was because I have 2 pending speeding tickets, one out of state, one in state, and one of them I'm seeking like actual legal help for because of how bad it was, which will be a video, you know, on this channel. But it was because of those impacts on those tickets, which my insurance company hasn't found yet, you know, State Farm. If I put a car fully under my name, our insurance rates will skyrocket. I mean, they're already ridiculously high because there's a claim on my Altima, because there was an accident I had a long time ago. It was changing lanes and there was someone in my blind spot. Very stupid. But with all that being said, I said to my parents, hey, you know, I originally wanted to finance this car, and that didn't become, like, that wasn't an option anymore. So I was wondering, do you think you guys would be willing to, actually, I didn't say this, my parents suggested it. I kind of felt bad about it, but I was like, you know, I'm going to take what I can get here. You know, they said we'd be willing to give you some money, you know, from the college fund to buy that car outright. So, you know, I took them up on the offer, and what they gave me half of the car, you know, half of what the car cost, and then the other half was from my end. And now every month starting next month, I'll be paying them back, you know, based on like a 3-year loan or whatever, like a 3-year like payment plan with a 10% interest rate, which is probably what I would have gotten around there anyway if I didn't have all these impending things. So I wasn't paying for the car 100% outright. And don't get me wrong, I actually have enough money in the bank to do so. I've been saving money, you know, I'm very frugal with what I buy. I don't just spend it here and there, you know, I'm very careful. I mean, I'm not gonna go out every night and spend $25 on dinner. If I can stay home and eat fucking ramen, I'm gonna, fifth gear, I'm gonna fucking eat ramen. So that's how I bought the car. That's how I quote unquote afforded it. You know, everybody, I know that a lot of people are still gonna be like, daddy's money, you know, all that crap. And I mean, what am I gonna say here? I mean, am I gonna pretend like my parents didn't give me half the car, you know, to be able to buy it? No, because that's exactly what happened. You know, I think a lot of people hide it. You know, most notably kind of Jeffrey and what he said. I don't know what the specifics are. And at this point, every time somebody asks me about Jeffrey's finances, I just tell them, listen, I don't know if the motherfucker's slinging dope. I don't know what he's doing. I just give up. But I'm very thankful my parents were willing to let me do that. And which is why when I have a friend of mine who sees the car and I know they know how to drive stick, I often like, hey, you want to drive it? You know, as long as I know they know how to drive. At the end of the day as well, you know, I do work my ass off. I'm not given stuff, you know, just like here and there. I do have to work for stuff. If this was true daddy's money, I'd still be living at home and be like, Dad, I want a C5. And then I nag for 3 months and then all of a sudden it's on the channel. No, like I had to fucking work for this, just like anybody else. Holy shit. So the Corvette is gonna have to sit here for the next couple days before I go to Maryland anyway. It's gonna have to sit at Rob's house because remember that whole neighbor thing? Well, that whole neighbor joke gag wasn't a gag. It was a real thing. Rob needs to get his like house plans approved and everything, and the town here is very, very strict on what they allow. And the last thing he needs is his neighbors hating him because someone has a really, really loud car there, especially when he only owns like 10 of them. So he said, hey, I mean, just don't start at your place. And I'm like, I can't do that. I make YouTube videos, Rob. You know that just as well as I do. And he said, okay, well then store it at my place until you get an actual muffler on it. And I said, okay, that's fine with me. As you guys know, right now, it has catalytic converters, but it has no mufflers. Like usually the mufflers are over there somewhere. They're not there. Like I said, it sounds great. I absolutely love the sound of it, but it's, well, I'm living somewhere for free, and the last thing I want to do is piss off my landlord who's literally letting me live for free. So that's why I said earlier in the video, because I didn't know how many of you were going to stick around to the end, I need an exhaust for this car. Well, not an exhaust, just mufflers. So if any of you guys have an axle back system for a C5, that'd be very good if you could, you know, PM me, DM me, whatever, me or whatever, just like also email me. That's another option, jrb65business@gmail.com. if you're not following me on Instagram, at Jimbo's channel, and you can DM me there. But, you know, I'm in the Maryland area this weekend, the DMV area. If any of you are there and would like to, you know, make a little bit of money and have something on hand, you know, please let me know and we can make something happen, because the sooner I can put mufflers on this, the better. But anyway, that's it for the video, guys. I appreciate y'all watching this far. If you have, make sure you are following me, subscribe to me, like the video if you have not already. Check out www.zfgco.com. Get some Zero Fucks Given merch, because is there any better like representation of it? You ask me, you tell me. So anyway, that's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Good things are always coming. I got plenty of edits coming out that I can't wait to show you. And obviously, more content with the C5. But I gotta get mufflers. Thanks for watching, all of y'all. Have a fantastic day.